So good evening, everyone. I'm Kevin Thompson, Director of Advancement and Alumni Relations here at the University of Minnesota Crookston, and it is my great pleasure to welcome you to tonight's 2025 Torch and Shield event. I'd like to introduce to you the guests on the stage. So as I please raise, or please stand up when I read your name. Doug Hipsch, he is the chair of the University of Minnesota Regents. Welcome. Director of Operations at the Northwest Research and Outreach Center. Dr. Ray Holtz, Chancellor of our great Crookston campus. And in the audience, we have Dr. Rosemary Johnson, the Senior Vice Chancellor of Academic and Student Affairs. Rosemary. And I'd like to ask Rosemary to come up to the stage at this time. One thing that we do at all of our campus events is to read our land acknowledgement statement. So, Rosemary, thank you for doing that.
Good evening. We acknowledge that we gather as the University of Minnesota Crookston on the traditional land and water of the Anishinaabe and Dakota people, past and present, and we honor with gratitude the land itself and the people who have served as caretakers of Mother Earth throughout the generations. We acknowledge the genocide and systems of oppression that have deprived Indigenous people of their lands, and we honor and respect the diverse and beautiful peoples still connected to this land. We recognize the many contributions Native nations have made as spiritual and physical caretakers of this land. We acknowledge the histories and cultural traditions that make these ceded and treaty lands special and celebrate the talents and gifts of Indigenous populations of our region. With this land acknowledgement, we affirm the inherent sovereignty of Native nations. We strive to hold our university accountable to Indigenous peoples and pledge to support and advocate for their welfare. The University of Minnesota Crookston stands with the community members of Native nations and commits to building relationships with the American Indian communities through partnerships, academic pursuits, historical recognitions, and recruitment efforts to further our commitment to promoting diversity and to create an equitable and inclusive future for this region.
Thank you, Rosemary. Again, welcome to the 2025 Torch and Shield event. This is my third time hosting this event, if you can imagine. Brandy told me just recently, she said, even though you're not very good at it, we're going to give you another shot. So I appreciate that, Ms. Jakey. This is the first time, if you have come to Torch and Shield before, one of the premier events on our campus, you'll notice that it's not November. Normally we have this event in November, so today, this time around we have it in August, and it's a bit warm, and I was a little bit concerned about that because this is my official Torch and Shield suit. And so I went home today thinking, okay, what am I going to do to make sure that I'm a little bit cool throughout the evening? And I went to go take out my suit. Now, this happened at 3 o'clock today, 3 o'clock. So I went home, got my suit bag, got it open, took a look at the jacket, and I thought, that looked different to me, but I didn't know exactly why. It looked different, and then I grabbed the pants, and this is what I found. Okay, I was experiencing this 5 stages of grief in 12 seconds. My first thought was, and I wrote these down, 12 seconds, mind you, I was thinking, oh my gosh, what is going on? What happened with my suit pants? That was my first thought. What am I going to wear tonight? Second thought was, I'm going to get fired. How am I going to go on stage tonight? Then I remembered I'm tenured, so I'm good. And then I thought, what has happened to the dry cleaning? Because almost 2 years ago, I brought my suit in to get dry cleaned. And I'm like, what happened to the dry cleaning process where it either cuts off or dissolves my pant legs? So understanding, and then I was thinking, well, maybe it's a magical suit, because all day I was thinking, I'm gonna be so hot tonight. I'm kind of a little concerned about that, and maybe it manifested into a whole new suit. So the top jacket was a tux, and then these tux shorts, which I've never seen in life before. And then I was thinking of the 5 stages, like, gosh, I wonder who actually owns this, because I got it by mistake. And this person 2 years ago did not get their tux suit and shorts, but a guy that actually wears tux shorts, I'm like, I gotta meet that guy. I'm sure he's very cool. Again, 3 o'clock this afternoon. After kind of resolving that 12 seconds of horror, I did find my suit, luckily, and my tie. And so it is a bit warm, but it's also really the perfect time. It makes sense to have the Torch and Shield event in August. And the reason for that is because 2 weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, faculty came back on contract. This weekend, we have welcome weekend for our freshman students. So our freshmen are coming to move in on Friday, and they're also going to be going through a lot of fun and meaningful orientation activities. The rest of our students are coming in and moving in on Monday, and on Tuesday, classes start. So this is the perfect time of year, I think, for our Torch and Shield event, because it makes you think about the coming year. You think about the impact our campus makes on the lives of our students, and you have to wonder about that impact. You know, how many of the students came to UMC, are coming for the first time, or coming back, and are going to finish their degree because they received a scholarship or scholarships, or versus maybe they would never come here, or they would never, come to college because they just couldn't afford it. How many of the students came to UMC because they participated in a STEM program where the Crest trailer visited their community? How many of these students will have transformative learning experiences throughout the year, whether it's participating in research with faculty or going to conferences and competitions with faculty, and also through club advisors? And how many of these students are student athletes here pursuing their degree while also pursuing their love of competition? I'm 100% confident that every student on our campus in some way, in a small or significant way, or a seen or unseen way, have been touched and benefited from the kindness of our generous donors. Undoubtedly, you have changed lives. Tonight, we celebrate you in recognition of your generosity. So let's begin. At this time, will you join me in welcoming Mary Holtz-Claus, Chancellor of the University of Minnesota Crookston.
Thank you, Kevin. If I could recommend, you might want to get a different dry cleaner. Really, seriously. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the commitment that you've made to our university. And as Kevin said, each one of those students oftentimes have been impacted by the wonderful gift that you have given them. And that's what we're here to do tonight, is to celebrate you. Thank you so much for those pieces, those areas that you've embraced our students. You've given them hope. You've given them a future. And that oftentimes would not have been possible without you and your commitment that you give them. So the Torch and Shield is our highest honor for the University of Minnesota Crookston, our Northwest School of Northwest Minnesota Extension, and the Northwest Research and Outreach Center. So the first Torch and Shield Award was presented back in 1966, and I was even young then. So we are honored tonight to have you join us to be part of this long celebration of traditions. The prestigious Torch and Shield Award honors contributions of significance to higher education, our campus, and the region. And it recognizes you, our champions, for the impact that you've made on teaching, research, and outreach, and distinguishes both high-profile individuals and those who've been our quiet contributors to the success of our campus. So I know that we have a number of previous Torch and Shield Award recipients in the audience tonight. So would you please stand if you have received this award in the past? All of you, there's a lot of you. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And I'd also like to acknowledge a few people that are in the audience. So as I call your name, would you please stand and sit down, and we'll hold our applause until we're through here. So Regent Chair Doug Hipsch, thank you very much for being with us today. Minnesota State Trustee and friend of Crookston, Roger Moe. President and CEO of our University of Minnesota Foundation, John Morris and Tracy Ketchum, Flannery Delaney, and Beth Campbell, also with the University of Minnesota Foundation, Chancellor Emeritus Chuck Casey and Barbara Musey, former Senior Vice Chancellor Barbara Kynett and her spouse, Jim, U of M Crookston Senior Vice Chancellor of Academic and Student Affairs, Rosemary Johnson and Bill Johnson, Marina Bull, Director of Operations in the Northwest Research and Outreach Center, Lisa Logren and her husband John, Regional Extension Director, and members of our Campus Advisory and Advancement Board, or CAB, that are here tonight, Tim Defoe and Marlene, Paul Eimel and Kathy, Lori Marco, Grace Ann Judy Stryker-Riel and her spouse, Dan Spadarski and Vicki, Dr. Carrie Torkelson, Carl Wittenberg, who's chair of our CAB, and Charlene, Yelia Trinket and Don. Please join me in thanking this group for their commitment and hard work for this great university. At this time, I'd like to invite Marina Bull, Director of Operations of the Northwest Research and Outreach Center, no, she's not going to prevent it. She's going to present it, our first Torch and Shield Award.
Thank you, Mary, and I want to thank Mary and her staff for all the hard work that they put into making this event happen. It is truly spectacular, so thank you. And I'd like to congratulate Paul and Kathy Eimel on your Torch and Shield Award, being the recipient, and thank you for all the contributions to the University of Minnesota. Thank you very much. In February of 2020, now I get to talk about Tim. In February of 2020, my predecessor, Albert Sims, revitalized the Northwest Research and Outreach Center's Advisory Committee. He knew exactly what he wanted in people to fill the vacant seats that were on our committee. Albert thought individuals should be strong, knowledgeable, and deeply rooted in their communities. If they also brought along legislative expertise, then that was just a bonus to him. So Tim embodied all of those qualities. His background with Minnesota Wheat Promotion Council, the Northern Crops Institute, many other organizations that he's associated with, and as a producer, gave him a unique and valuable perspective. He was never complacent either when in his legislative efforts. He actively testified with lawmakers to help them better understand the needs and the realities of the communities in which he lives in and works in. Tim is a clear and effective communicator with his calm demeanor and thoughtful approach. He has consistently articulated the priorities of Minnesota farmers, commodity groups, communities across the Northwest Minnesota. From the moment he joined the Northwest Research and Outreach Center Advisory Committee, on the first day that he joined there, he was voted in vice chair. Everybody knew Tim, they knew what he was about, so they voted him right in straight away. And he got to work. So his contributions to the Northwest Research Center has been meaningful and wide-ranging and drawing his deep experience and insight. One area of Tim's passions, and if you know Tim, this is totally true, is soil conservation. Tim and I have had conversations about the importance of hiring a soil health position specialist at the Research Center. We have the space. We have the outstanding faculty ready to collaborate once we find funding for a position. Tim, your commitment to this topic is inspiring, and it pushes me to be proactive and work hard towards solutions and improving field conditions and to support sustainable efforts. Tim, thank you for your steadfast spirit and your progressive outlook. You have made a lasting impression on us and beyond the Research Center. Congratulations on this well-deserved award and a prestigious award that it is. Thank you. Could you come up, Jim, please?
Well, thank you, Maureen, for those kind words. All three organizations that were represented here tonight, I've been a big fan of the University of Minnesota Crookston. I'm an alumni. I graduated in 19-something or other. And the Extension Department, and especially the Northwest Research and Outreach Council, which I grew up, it was called the Experiment Station. And I'll just focus on agriculture and what those three entities have done to agriculture in this region. But look around, as prosperous as we are in this region, it wouldn't be without those three entities. We're doing the research, we're teaching the young people, and then we're going outreach and we're teaching the farmers. I've seen it time and time again, and it's very valuable. That's why it was very easy when Al Sims called about getting on board. It's like, yeah, let's do whatever we can for this organization. And soil health has become a thing with me. The older you get, the more you appreciate that little bit of topsoil that we got. And so I just, again, thank you. Thank you, Mary and Doug. Thank you for coming up. I appreciate it. And congratulations also to Paul and Mary. So thank you.
Congratulations, Tim. Thank you for your strong commitment. He is such an amazing community member, volunteering and being there for helping us all out in this region. And actually, I think it's pretty, not just kind of a little bit of topsoil. It looks to me like there's some places where it's pretty deep there. Lake Agassiz was pretty gracious to our region. So it's often said that a relationship is built on trust. And one that is built on trust is more likely to last a lifetime, and perhaps beyond. In my time here at the University of Minnesota Crookston, I've seen firsthand how essential it is to understand what makes this region and our campus unique and very special. It is unequivocally the people. We are a region of people that care deeply about the place we live and the people who surround us. We value our education system and those who educate the next generation of Northwest Minnesotans. We are deeply tied to the soil and our farmers who care for this precious resource. We believe in the vitality and the viability of Northwest Minnesota. All these things are true of tonight's esteemed Torch and Shield honorees. Paul and Kathy Eimel are the owners of more than 50-year-old Pine Lake Wild Rice Farm Operation, a family-owned business located down the road in Gonvick, Minnesota. They are entrepreneurs with a commitment to growing food for our state and our country. They are educators, and they are contributors, and they are volunteers. They are also friends who care about their neighbors and have a deeply seated affinity to the great state of Minnesota and this university. In the program, you can read greater details of this incredible, inspiring couple. But what you won't read in the text is the depth and the commitment from their humble hearts. I first met the Eimels more than half a decade ago, but because there was a pre-existing condition and connection fostered through the University of Minnesota, focusing on wild rice innovation. Our Associate Vice Chancellor of Agriculture and Natural Resources, Tony Curran, would you please stand, Tony? Tony knew the Eimels saw potential and what a connection may bring to this wonderful family and the Pine Lake Wild Rice Farm. After table conversations, we learned who Paul and Kathy were and what they are and what they care about. We spoke about their passions for education and agriculture with the purpose of creating pathways and opportunities for young learners, with hopes to fill the gaps and address challenges within the K-12 education system as it related to the lack of access for our students in this region to STEM and the ag education curriculum. We formulated a plan, and with the wholehearted blessing and seed philanthropy support of Paul and Kathy, we were able to pilot several programs. Early on, Michelle Christopherson was out there being as creative and innovative as she could to find what those pilot programs could be. But the bottom line is that Paul and Kathy saw an opportunity to affect change. And simply put, they wanted us to try. Let's try some of these things. Let's see if they work. Their unbridled trust in our university and staff to get out into communities and classrooms morphed into a difference-making program called the Center for Rural Education in Science and Technology, or, as we all do so well, coming up with acronyms, CREST. This forward-thinking enthusiasm for education would be the cornerstone to a now incredibly thriving program, which has touched the lives and minds of thousands of young people in our surrounding communities. Program coordinators at CREST, Tim Dudley and Amber Murray, has since leveraged that IMO gift to generate hundreds of thousands of additional dollars to support this work. If any of you were at the county fairs, you would have seen the CREST group out there communicating and showing the opportunities for agriculture and STEM education at the county fairs, as they were, I think, at 10 county fairs this summer. They also created, and this has been just invaluable, a mobile teaching lab that goes out to communities to bring education from the University of Minnesota Crookston to hometowns all throughout our region. This started with a conversation and an unwavering trust in what Paul and Kathy thought was something worth giving it a try, and it's working. The generosity of Paul and Kathy also impacts the lives of many of U of M Crookston students through their IMO Family Scholarship, again, trusting the university to do their job. These unrestricted gifts give UMC flexibility to support students who perhaps need a boost to stay in school or to attract and continue achieve their goals. Or maybe they've been the difference makers to those who opt to hire to change a lane in education or wanted to do something different, or those who are just getting started on their higher education journey. You see, philanthropy, which all of you are so involved with us, is a sharing of treasures. The IMOs have graciously shared their financial treasures and have also shared their treasures of relationships. They've connected us with their friends and neighbors who may also have an interest in our campus. There have been so many meals served by Paul and Kathy, connecting us with others. You see, Paul and Kathy IMO want what is best for the region. They authentically care about students and wish for them to have opportunities. So they epitomize the meaning of our Torch and Shield Award tonight, which is bestowed upon those who provide leadership and who have aided in the development of the University of Minnesota Crookston. They're a champion for young people, for tomorrow's workforce, and for agriculture, and for education. We're pleased to honor our friends and dedicated caregivers of our region and our university. Paul and Kathy Imo, please come up. Paul may have a few comments, so I think I might sit down just in case it's more than a few comments.
I'm not sure I can improve on what Mary has already said, but I'll tell you a little bit about where we came from and where we are now. Kathy and I are basically city kids. She in Minneapolis, I am in the Washington, D.C. area. But our ties to agriculture run deep. We both came from immigrants who settled in the Midwest and found opportunity in farming the rich land. My first 5 years of life were spent on a USDA experimental station in central Costa Rican mountains, as my father continued the ag legacy doing rubber research there during and after World War II. Fast forward to the fall of 1967, and I arrived at the University of Minnesota St. Paul campus, having never seen it. These were exciting years. Alum Norm Borlaug won the Nobel Prize in 1970, Nobel Peace Prize in 1970. So nothing seemed impossible to students in ag at that time. Dean Hugh, an outstanding leader and mentor, and many exemplary professors were encouraging the use of science and technology to make traditional crops more productive and efficient while embracing new ones and new technologies. Nobody said, no, you can't do that. I was fortunate to be involved in one of those initiatives when I got a campus job working for Dr. Tom King, who was part of a group of forward thinkers interested in domesticating wild rice. Obviously, it was a life-altering experience. Upon graduating in 1971, I worked at the Grand Rapids Experiment Station doing field research on wild rice and met John Gunvalson. He was my first of many connections to Crookston. John and I decided to try wild rice farming on peat soils north of Gully, Minnesota. Now, mind you, we had no money, no land, no equipment except the 1947 M tractor. But we were young, hard to believe, young, strong, and thought nothing was impossible. In the fall of 1971, we began development of our first crop, which we began harvesting the day after Kathy and I were married in 1972. John and I became successful and were partners for 27 years. Kathy and I have also been successful partners for 53 years, and I credit her 33 years of teaching with making it possible for me to farm. In 1973, Kathy's father, Oscar Thorbeck, also a St. Paul campus grad, and I became partners and started farming on land north of Gully. That entity has grown and changed immensely over the past 5 decades and is now operated by our son Peter, see right there, who received his master's degree from none other but the St. Paul campus, and shares the ownership of the farm with his sister Amy Crosby, who's sitting there, whose career path led to Cargill. Over the past 50 years, we have had numerous meaningful and positive contacts with UMC. Larry Smith, Albert Sims, Dan Swidarski, Ian McCrae, Don Sargent, Tony Kern, to name a few, and now Reg, Brandy, and Michelle, and of course, Chancellor Meredith. Our son Peter and daughter Amy have supported, as you've heard, the CREST, Ag in the Classroom, and other meaningful creative UMC programs. Kathy and I have enjoyed offering Diamond Family Scholarships for UMC students in all fields. Many of the recipients have been the first member of their family to attend college. The letters of gratitude have been heartwarming. One letter was from a parent who was hoping to get his college degree before his child. I guess it's never too early or too late to learn. We think that investing in UMC students is the best way to ensure that we continue to have strong leadership for the future of Northwest Minnesota, our communities, our schools, and our farms and businesses. Until tonight, the only torch I was accustomed to was an acetylene cutting torch used to modify conventional machinery to harvest unconventional crops in unconventional soils. It is indeed an honor for our family to be recognized with the Torch and Shield Award. Thank you very much.
This is a story of innovation, creativity, and a Northwest Minnesota story. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Paul, Kathy, and Tim. You are now a part of a historic and honored group of individuals and organizations to whom we are most grateful. We'll share with you the secret handshake later tonight. I'm not sure exactly what happened to the guests on stage, but I kind of feel like high school again. It is my pleasure to now welcome you to relax and enjoy the special musical number, Raise Me Up, performed tonight by two past Torch and Shield recipients, alumnus Dr. Carrie Torkelson and Associate Professor Dr. George French.
Thank you. I have a couple words I want to say about the song we chose. It wasn't a song that I think is really great for my voice, but as you know, our friend Jerry Knudsen has been in the hospital recently, and George and I were both visiting him at the same time, and we told him we would be performing tonight, and we said, do you have any ideas or songs you might request? And at that moment, he couldn't really speak, so he reached for his pamphlet, and he wrote, "You Raise Me Up." So then we both looked at each other and I guess we're singing "You Raise Me Up." So that's what we'll be performing tonight. And it also is kind of appropriate because all of you who are donors and have been giving to the university, you raise up all of the students who are here. And so thank you for all that you do, and thank you, George, and we'll be performing for you tonight.
When I am down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart couldn't be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. There is no life without its hunger. Each restless heart beats so impatiently. But when you come and I am filled with wonder, sometimes I think I glimpse eternity. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains.
Thank you, Carrie and George, for the outstanding performance. As I mentioned earlier, both Carrie and George are former Torch and Shield recipients, which means obviously that Paul, Kathy, and Tim will have to sing next time. We have Torch and Shield, so you've got 2 years to warm up the old pipes. To share greetings from the University of Minnesota Foundation, I would like to welcome President and CEO John Morris. John is finishing up his 4th month as the leader of UMF, having returned to Minnesota and the foundation after serving as senior vice president at the Texas A&M Foundation. He is passionate about connecting the philanthropic motivations of donors with the life-changing work of the university, and we are thrilled that he has joined us tonight. Welcome, John.
Good evening. It's wonderful to be with you all. That was gorgeous. That was a gorgeous performance. Can we give how about one more round of applause? It's wonderful to be with you all tonight to share greetings. Yes, finishing day roughly 100-ish as the new CEO of the University of Minnesota Foundation. And we just wrapped up our fiscal year, June 30th, with the most successful fundraising year in the history of the university. $464 million was committed by generous benefactors to all of our campuses, colleges, and programs, supporting the great work that happens every day. Yes. Just as it does right here on this campus, on this beautiful campus. What's also inspiring about that number is that over 80,000 people made gifts to the University of Minnesota, our campuses, our colleges, all of our systems. And in a national headline with a lot of headwinds coming at higher education, that's 80,000 people that are saying, I believe in the work that you're doing. I believe in the good that you're doing. And it's true reminders of that at all times. So while I'm new to the role, I am not new to Minnesota or to the University of Minnesota Foundation or to Crookston for that matter. My family arrived in Minnesota for many of the same reasons that yours did, agriculture. In 1991, my family moved from Harrisonburg, Virginia, where my father was a plant manager on a poultry farm, to St. Charles, Minnesota, which is about 450 miles southeast of here, in a town maybe a third the size of Crookston, to Brownlee Plant in Altura, Minnesota. And been here and loved it ever since. And why Crookston means so much. It was wonderful in the pre-reception to visit with so many of you to talk about the crucialness that this campus, this university has to the region. That's what the land grant mission is all about. And that land grant mission, that compact that we have to improve lives and drive economies, you see it and feel it every single day. You see it right here. And to hear you talk about what this university means to this region, and to our people is just extraordinary exciting to hear the faculty talk about why they do it and how long they stay, 26. I met one who had been here for 49 years. You stay because of the people and because of the mission. You can feel it. It is palpable when you drive into town and certainly when you walk into this campus, and that's why we're here. And so I'm here to say thank you. I'm here to express gratitude. We are your foundation. We are the foundation for the University of Minnesota. We are the foundation for the University of Minnesota Crookston. We are for you always, and because you are for us. So if education is the closest thing we have to magic, I like to say that philanthropy is the reveal. Philanthropy is the thing that makes that happen, right? Philanthropy is what makes that magic possible. And each of you have participated today, before, and in the future on making that reveal possible. And we're just so grateful for what you get to do and what we get to inspire and guide right next to you to do alongside to make this campus stronger every day and the mission that we do for this state, this region, and our nation. It's an honor that we share with our campus, with our chancellor, with Madam Chancellor, with our regents, and with all of our leadership to continue this mission that is just so critical. And I want to introduce you to the person that we trust so dearly on our team to make all that happen, a woman who, whenever she was being very gracious of introducing me to so many people, when she walked away, they all wanted to make sure I knew just how great she was. And I know you all know that firsthand. So Brandy Chappie, come on up here and talk about that.
you, boss. As John stated, my name is Brandy Chafee, and I am the Lead Development Officer for the University of Minnesota Crookston. This is a beautiful and wonderful celebration. Paul and Kathy and Tim, congratulations. You are most deserving of being honored with the Torch and Shield Award this evening, and thank you for all that you have done and continue to do to lift up and care for our beautiful university. I want to also congratulate Chancellor Emeritus Fred Wood for the dedication of the Fred E. Wood Welcome Center earlier today. Fred hired me 10 years ago, and that was this fall. And so this role that I have to serve, I am so proud to have it, and eternally grateful for the confidence that he had in me at that time. And then he also was one of those people that just had such value in the work that we do here at the university in the Alumni and Donor Relations Office. So just really, really touched by his dedication today. Tonight I'm absolutely thrilled to have an opportunity to share and showcase the overwhelming impact and importance of donor support and the meaning of transformational giving to our university and our students. The last time we were here, it was November of 2023, and we then celebrated historic philanthropic giving to our Crookston campus. I am overjoyed tonight and full of gratitude to share that we have exceeded those numbers this past year. In this fiscal year 25, we have reached more than $1.8 million of gift support, which is our second largest year of giving in the University of Minnesota Crookston history. So it's just truly incredible. Thank you. The applause are so nice because other years I kind of had to try to prompt them. It was really uncomfortable. So thanks a lot. Since we are a higher learning education provider, I am going to unpack some supporting data and share the state of our development efforts on our campus. There's going to be a lot of numbers here, so bear with me, but please do pay attention to the screen and we'll get going. In that $1.8 million last year, there were 830 donors who contributed. Of those 830 donors, we had 76 corporations and organizations who supported campus projects, programs, and initiatives. Our alumni made up for 71% of all the gifts that we received. Where did those dollars go? 64% of the 1.8 million went to support student scholarships, and campus programs received 29% of the funds contributed. Overall, our University of Minnesota Crookston endowment, which are dollars that will live on in perpetuity, have reached close to 20 million. Our office manages 134 endowed funds and 133 demand funds. Demand funds are gifts that are received that then are spent to purpose right away. This is a lot, I know, but I hope it paints a clear picture of the philanthropic activity present on this campus and created by all of you and your generosity and thoughtfulness. So now, switching gears a bit, let's talk about who the recipients of your giving would be. On the Crookston campus, we have a diverse and vibrant student body. We have strong on-campus and online student populations, many of whom are impacted by donor-funded scholarships along with university-wide scholarships and financial aid. 31% of our student population are Pell eligible. And of our degree-seeking students, 65% receive some type of grant or scholarship. 61% of our students graduate with student loan debt, and the average debt among graduates is approximately $27,000. That might sound like a lot, but actually that number is among the lowest in the state of Minnesota. So that said, you can see that the impact of scholarships are all over these numbers. It matters in every single way. And the reality is, the more we can do to grow our scholarship base, our endowments and demand funds, the greater the impact made for students and families for generations to come. What do you think of that? So I promised to share a few examples of what transformational giving looks like at the University of Minnesota Crookston, and I want to be sure to mention that transformational gifts come in all shapes, sizes, and purposes. Every dollar that comes to this campus is put to work, and it is our job to ensure we tell that story. In recent years, we've shared the story of the Nielsen's, Lesson June. Their gift supporting transformative scholarships to students from selected rural communities in our region have made such a difference. There is no other more impactful recruiting technique than our admissions team being able to walk into those high schools and say, hey, guess what? Someone cares about you, they're amazing people, and they want you to earn your degree at UMC. So your tuition is covered for 4 years, let's go. The Nielsen gifts have single-handedly boosted enrollment by 104 students since 2021. Absolutely tremendous generosity and persistence to create a pathway for students to earn a U of M degree in our rural communities. The next is purpose meets plans, quite literally. This could be, what could be more fulfilling than filling the critical gaps in staffing and operational costs that we might have. Our horticulture program for years has been at the mercy of tight budgets and lean staffing, and that is not unique necessarily. But one very purposeful gift from our friends Dick and Audrey Hebert quite literally changed the lives of faculty and students in the horticulture program and positively altered the scope of work, making their ideas for the gardens turn into a reality. It couldn't be better stated than by the people who see that gift at work every day. Teresa Helgeson, who is a lab coordinator and horticulture club advisor, said, "A classic thank you doesn't seem enough. As a longtime staff member and horticulture program advisor and alumna, I'm overwhelmed by their generosity and commitment to our university. It's truly inspiring and certainly an impact that won't soon be forgotten." Another meaningful way in which donors are making an immediate difference in the lives of faculty, staff, students, and the young people across the region is directly connected to our honorees tonight, Paul and Catherine, and the Pine Lake Wild Rice Farms, and Peter and Amy. You heard about how their gifts to the University of Minnesota Crookston made us able to bring agriculture and STEM-related programs to K-12 classrooms. The Center for Rural Education in Science and Technology is doing things and impacting people in ways that we could hardly imagine 4 years ago. Look at these numbers. Accumulatively, over the past few years of the program, there's been 151 youth events hosted. These are people, Amber and Tim Dudley are out seeing people where they're at, and they're getting work done. More than 7,000 young people have been touched by that program in more than 50 communities. I asked program coordinator Amber Murray what she felt was obvious to her that we may not see in these numbers. She said, most people see the skills and knowledge gained, but what I see is a positive core memory being formed in the field of STEM and agriculture, giving them the foundation to build not just careers for their future, but confidence and curiosity in the world around them. It's pretty amazing. We'll take a hand of applause. As I stated before, transformational gifts come in all shapes, sizes, and purposes, and what we've witnessed here is at just the right time, when a donor's passion or interest aligns with the campus priority, it sows the seeds of purpose, and the impact is infinite. To all of you, with boundless gratitude, thank you. If you don't know me well, you know I'm a big baby. I get pretty choked up pretty easily. Okay, so at this time, please draw your attention to our screen and our Giving Gratitude video. The names on the screen indicate those individuals who have moved into a new gift club level over the past couple of years. Following the video, you will hear from Clara Hansen. She's one of our favorite students of all time. She's a recent graduate, and she will share her story of impact and transformative experience made possible by scholarship support. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Clara Hansen, and I'm honored to be here with you today. I was born and raised in Grand Forks, North Dakota, and just this past May, I graduated from the University of Minnesota Crookston with degrees in English and marketing. In just one short week, I'll begin my next chapter as I start law school at the University of North Dakota. When I think back on the last 4 years, I'm mostly filled with gratitude, but also a little bit of sadness that it's already done so quickly. Coming to the U of M Crookston as a freshman and new member of the women's golf team, I was most definitely excited for my new chapter, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't also terrified. I had no idea what to expect or if I was ready for the challenge of higher education. What I found here was a community that believed in me before I fully believed in myself. This university helped me grow into someone who's confident, capable, and ready to take on what's next. Before I started college, I knew I wanted to pursue a career in law, but I questioned whether I could really do it. Thanks to the encouragement I received here and the opportunities that were made possible by the generosity of donors, I learned very quickly that I could do anything I set my mind to. One of the most defining moments of my undergraduate career happened pretty early on when I learned I had received the IMO Family Scholarship. What made this moment especially surprising was the timing. Most students know about their scholarships before the school year begins, but I found out after completing my first semester and returning from holiday break. The news was both unexpected and life-changing, as it cut my student loans for the year in half. Putting this situation simply, being awarded the IMO Family Scholarship is something that made a real and immediate difference for my family and I in our financial situation. But even more than the financial support, it gave me something deeper, a sense of belonging. It reminded me that people, ones that I didn't even know, believed in me and were willing to invest in my future. That encouragement meant more to me than I can ever put into words. To the IMO family and to all the donors in attendance here tonight, please know that your generosity changes lives. It certainly changed mine, and there are so many students on this campus with stories just like mine. Because of your support, students like me are able to dream bigger, work harder, and walk across the graduation stage with confidence, pride, and purpose. No matter where I go in my life, I will always remember my time at the university with fondness and gratitude, and you all made this possible. On behalf of every single U of M Crookston student, thank you to each and every one of you who support the University of Minnesota Crookston.
Thank you, Ms. Clara. Thank you for the support that you have provided for so many of our students. Good luck to you. I am looking forward to having you, you don't have to represent me, but good luck on the process there of going through law school. We're so proud of you. So it is with immense gratitude that Tim Roblestead, who's right behind me, president of Otter Tail Power Company, and I are here tonight to honor Pete Wasberg. Unfortunately, Pete is not able to be with us tonight. Pete recently retired from Otter Tail Power, where he served as Director of Human Resources and Safety. We know Pete here on our campus for his dedication to serving on our Campus Advisory and Advancement Board for more than 16 years. Pete first started on the board back a long time ago when he was living here and working in Crookston. But his belief in the power of education and its impact on transforming lives is demonstrated by his commitment to being on the advisory board. When he moved to Fergus Falls, he continued to make the 6-hour trek for meetings and events to be an advocate for our campus and an active member of our board, until ultimately he served as the chair of the board for 12 years, until he recently stepped down due to health issues this year. Pete was recognized as 2014 as the recipient of the Torch and Shield Award. Pete epitomizes selfless service, steady, quiet, thoughtful. He is a true servant leader. So members of the CAB board, Crookston campus employees, and Pete's friends and colleagues at Otter Tail tonight want to recognize this wonderful man and the contributions that he has given to all of us. Tim would like to share with you a little bit more about Pete Wasberg and his impact on the Otter Tail family and the communities in which he has served.
Well, good evening, everybody. It is certainly an immense honor to be here this evening, to be part of this event, but more importantly, to be able to say a few words about my friend and colleague, Pete Wasberg. Pete is, at Otter Tail Power, we talk about bleeding Otter Tail Power blue. And I know whenever he came up to Crookston, he always had that golden eagle, maroon and gold going on as well. So he's a person that could do the Otter Tail blue and gold, maroon and gold together and did it very, very well. Tonight isn't about Pete's remarkable career with Otter Tail Power, rather it's about the values he champions and the lasting impacts he has with each of the people and communities he serves. The heart of the community is central to Pete's story. He improves the quality of life in every community he touches, volunteering, mentoring, and always stepping up to lend a hand. Pete just didn't work in Crookston, he invested himself fully in the people and the future. For Pete, every customer is a neighbor. His time at our Crookston Customer Service Center left a legacy of relationships built on trust, care, and follow-through. He has a gift of finding new solutions and drawing on the expertise of those around him. He encourages innovative thinking, strategic planning, and the idea that the best answers often come from collaboration. Above all, Pete believes in people. He builds respectful relationships, champions inclusion, creates environments where everyone can thrive. Pete empowers those around him to lead, grow, and make a difference in their careers, their families, and their communities. That's why announcing tonight the Pete Wasberg Empowering Future Scholarship feels so right. Pete's legacy is one of living out core values, not just about them, but weaving them into the fabric of our company and our communities. He shows us what it truly means to be a leader, to empower others, to serve with integrity and heart, and to leave every person and place better than you found them. These remarks are being recorded this evening, so I'd like to directly thank Pete for being the example we all strive to follow. On behalf of Otter Tail Power Company, Pete, thank you for letting us share in the celebration of your career, your values, and your extraordinary impacts. Now I'd like to pass the microphone back to Mary and share some more about Pete, the Pete Wasberg Empowering the Future Scholarship, which will carry Pete's values forward and truly empower futures. Thank you.
So Otter Tail Foundation has been a very generous contributor to the Pete Wasberg Empowering Future Scholarships, and it is now available to receive gifts if it speaks to your heart. With a wonderful gift from Otter Tail and gifts from our CAB members, friends, and colleagues and families here on our campus, the fund will be established at $50,000 and will soon honor Pete by distributing meaningful scholarships to students at the Crookston campus. So we thank Otter Tail and we thank all of you who have contributed to the Pete Wasberg Scholarship and to include and to continue the memory of this selfless and wonderful servant leader. So thank you very much.
I think it's my turn. Great. Kevin's like a brother from another mother, right? So I have nothing good to say, but I would like to ask you to please join me in congratulating Tim and Paul and Kathy on their much-deserved honors this evening. And we would like to close this portion of our evening with a few words of gratitude and some housekeeping items. Kevin gets the housekeeping, okay? Thank you, Regent Chair Pitch, for being here tonight. We greatly appreciate it. You being here, and John, thank you for being here. John Morris, our CEO and President of the Foundation. Having our University of Minnesota partners here really matters to our entire campus, so we have a huge gratitude for that. I want to thank Chancellor Mary and Reg for their support, and also Chancellor Emeritus Chuck Casey and Barbara Musing for being here tonight. I would also like to do some huge thank yous to a bunch of team members, as it takes a sizable village to pull any of these things off. My brother Kevin, I'd like to thank him. I'd like to thank Angelica Hewlin for all that she has done, Kelsey Inglestead, Jess Bangston, Judy Babs, Megan Benoit, Leah Stroot. I want to thank Michelle Christofferson for all of her efforts today, as she was the lead in the Fred Wood portion of this day. It's a lot to do. Chris Winjum, Media Services, John and James, our Sodexo Dining Services, and Teresa Helgeson, Laura Bell, and Marina Wiley, who are from our horticulture area, natural resources area, for their work in transforming what you will see very soon as our brown dining hall. So it's just really gorgeous. They also used roses in the bouquets to honor our friend Rose, who's no longer with us. So, yes, I know. Thank you to Clara and Tim for your time tonight and for being a part of our wonderful celebration. And thank you to Carrie and George for your musical talents. We as a university are elevated to answering the call of the University of Minnesota Land Grant Mission to serve the people of this region because of the support from donors like you. Your time, talent, and treasures of every type and level at every stage of your giving journey are meaningful and matter to all of us. And now I'd like to pass it on to the MC for the evening. Nice bow tie, by the way.
Thank you, Brandy, and thanks for the comment about bow tie. We are at the end of our program. That doesn't mean that we're at the end of our celebrating for tonight. In just a moment, we're going to be exiting our auditorium for Brown Dining Room. We're going to enjoy a very elegant meal prepared by our Sodexo Dining Services chefs and staff. When you arrive at the dining room, Angelica and Megan and Leah will be there to direct you to your table. Everyone has a specific table to sit at, so they'll help you identify where that table is at. When you arrive at the dining room, make sure to grab a beverage and then find your seat. And then when everyone is there, I will just say a few words, give you a bit of an orientation to the evening and the meal itself. The Chancellor is going to be leading our way in just a few moments down the hallway in the nice air conditioning down to Brown Dining Room. If you need assistance getting to Brown Dining Room, we can give you a ride on our passenger golf cart. It'll be parked outside of Keel Building, just down the first floor there. Chris Winjum is going to be the driver, and we are assured that he has fully completed his training. But if you did bring a helmet tonight, you may want to wear that. I think we're ready to go. So Chancellor, we'll follow your lead. We'll see you over in Brown.